Hey there, let's start with the materials I used. My usual sketchbook with plain white paper. The Gouache Illustration paper for the painting because it handles the paint really well and doesn't warp. Some sketching pencils. And of course the gouache paint. By the way, I used the cheapest I could find. A palette or plate for mixing colors. And of course some brushes. I used the smaller ones. Not only one jar of water, but two. One for dirty water and one for clear water. And some tape to tape down the paper. For references I used my original illustration from 2 years ago, the Reaper I took from the World Wide Web, I sketched it, and a few birches. This is the finished line art. And I made a detailed concept for the color and a mini version of the illustration itself. I transferred the line art onto the Gouache paper and used a plastic sheet as a base. Let's start. I taped the paper onto the plastic for more stability and so I could move it around instead of having it taped onto my table. Then I start mixing the colors for my background. It was very handy to have a color reference on my concept paper. While I was painting, I was listening to my favorite podcast, Harry Potter and the Sacred Text. If you like the Harry Potter series and analyzing it as if it were the Bible, this podcast is for you. I put a link down in the description so you can check it out. For the background, I tried to make a slight gradient from green to blue to create some atmospheric perspective. It didn't matter that I painted over the lines sometimes because I went over the trees with white paint later on. Then I moved on onto the coat. It took a while to get the right shade of red done, and by a while I mean at least 10 minutes. I recommend doing a wash down layer first, so that you can still see the lines of where the folds and shadows are supposed to be. Unfortunately, my layer was too thick and I needed to use my reference pictures a lot more. Then I started on the shadows and folds with a lot of layers. Don't be afraid to use a lot of layers because it really takes a while to get the right depth and right color and highlights done under the coat, and you can always add another layer if you have a mistake you want to correct. Now the coat seems pretty dark, but that is just because the highlights are still missing. As you can see, I used the red technique on the hood with a very light layer first. So it was a lot easier for me to see where the folds and shadows are. Change to dirty water in between, especially when you start using a different color or white. I gradually mix the white with the already existing color to lay highlights onto the coat. Then I moved onto the scythe. One big thing was still missing: the trees. I started with the ones nearest to me with white and then mixed in the background color to gradually paint the trees further behind to create some depth. The whole idea for the painting started 2 years ago when I was finished with another painting in class, and I asked a friend, what should I draw? And she answered death. So I researched reapers and reaper costumes on the internet, took a photo and drew it, and when I was going to color it, I didn't choose black, I chose red, so the reaper became the red reaping hood, which I find very interesting because of the reversal of the roles of the Red Riding Hood and the wolf, and the Red Riding Hood becoming the chaser and not the chased. Lastly, the black patches on the birches. I used reference pictures to understand where the markings and patches are usually the most located and how irregular they are on the birches to get it more efficiently done. A few finishing touches on the scythe. peeling of the tape, and of course signing the artwork. Always sign your artwork. And it's finished. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos, go to my channel and subscribe for more art. Also check out my Instagram for more behind the scenes and photography. Have a creative day. Bye!